Hello, my YouTube friends. Thanks for joining in tonight. The Audio Master Show, man. We got a lot of great things going on, as you know. Oh, man. Feels good to be hanging out here tonight with you guys. Oh, man. The other day, I just wanted to start out, man, and get this behind me. But if you guys don't know, man, I woke up with a serious toothache, man. It was killing me. And, there's nothing worse, and you guys can vouch for me. There's nothing worse than a toothache. Oh, gosh, man. And so, anyway, it wasn't that I was procrastinating to get in there. It's just I needed to take care of a few things, man. And I got it under control. And so whenever I go back in there, they said, "Oh well, you need a crown and da 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 da, and you have an abscess tooth." And so, dude, I could literally feel that thing throbbing in my cheekbone. And anyway, so needless to say, a few $1,000s is going to get me out of the situation that I'm in right now. But here's the thing, man. I'm gonna feel so much better, man, and I can't wait to be able to laugh about it and get this behind me. But if you guys are just joining in and you do not know where the subscribe button is, it's right down snare. Just wrap a dap on that baby, man, and also step up to the plate. You know the deal, and get you a grand slam and slam that bell out the park. Ah, I love it, man. I get so fired up on here because it is such a beautiful thing to answer all you guys' questions and keep them coming in. I love it when you guys keep writing in. You know what? Oh, here it is. Okay, so everybody's been writing me on my messenger on my phone. And okay, so my phone's trying to answer me. It's anyway, everybody's been messaging on my iPhone, and I dig it for you guys that want to stay in touch with me during the day, want to know about what the show we're going to be doing and what kind of stuff we're going to be talking about. So I kind of I can kind of stay ahead of the game and see what you guys want to know about, man. So anyway, I was watching a video the other day, and it was talking about some things that I talked about many times before, and I don't know how to reiterate this. But I'll try to as best as I can. The video, and these are from some top recording engineer masters in the engineering field, and so I was watching a few of their videos, and they were going over some simple things that I had discussed many years ago in some of my other videos, way back when. And one is for you, Teddy. This really goes out to you because you were asking about what you should actually spend your money on first. And I threw out there at you, man, first treat your room. Treat your room, treat your room, treat your room, and make sure you get those sound waves under control. Oh, there's nothing worse than reflections off your walls, your floors, your desk, your ceiling, and everything else, giving you a bad representation of what you think that you're hearing in the mix, man. So don't go out there and spend two, three, $4,000 on some beautiful reference monitors if your room isn't treated, because it doesn't matter how much money you spend on those speakers. They're going to give you a false representation as what you're hearing in the room, okay? If your room is not treated right. So imperative, guys. Make that your number one. Make that your number one. Treat your room first. Then go get you a set of monitors. In fact, get you two or three. And this guy was talking about the same thing. As you know, you can look behind me back here, y'all, and I have two sets of speakers, monitor speakers, near field speakers. I have some Adams and I have some PreSonus. And I'll go back and forth between those two and reference my mixes, as well as listening through my headphones, for reference too. And then here's the thing: once you get to where you know your speakers and you're comfortable and you know your room and you know your speakers and everything, your mix is going to get so much better, and you're going to be able to work a lot faster at creating a great mix without having to second guess or third guess and all the other stuff. So this guy that I watched, Dave, he was talking about like 15 different things to, help you get faster mix, get to be a better mixing engineer. And the first three things that he talked about were some of the things that I had discussed many, many times in my other videos. One was treating the room, make that number one. Also, on speakers on your monitors, have more than one set to reference back into from. And three would be to actually have a nice reference, a goal, or something that you want to kind of get your mix close to, right? And he had said something in his video that I didn't mind, but he just said go ahead and turn that reference mix down about 3 dB. That way, the stuff that you're doing that isn't mastered yet can kind of compare to some of that stuff that's already been mastered and whatnot. So it's not that you want to mix your song out just like it. It's such a you just kind of want a reference to get close to, right? And then also he talked about not copying everyone else and don't be afraid to try new things. And that was another key element that I hit on a lot is don't try to sound like a particular person in their music and whatnot, because they're already there and they've already done that, right? So you want to create something new and fresh to your ears that you've never heard before. And I want to tell you this before I go on and on and on and on and on, because you know me, guys, I love to talk audio and stereo and just music recording stuff, gear, the whole nine yards. So, but I want to tell you, the first time, I want to say it was 1970, oh, eight, maybe between 75 and 78. I want to say the first time that I heard, it was probably out of Wild or whatever, but it was the first time that I heard it, and I was at the fair. I was walking around. I was with my friend, couldn't find him, so I was kind of meandering around by myself, but just listening and watching. And you know how it is when you're younger, everything just seems so vibrant and real and huge and big, right? Blown up and just bigger than life. So I'm walking around the fair and I'm smelling all the food and I'm smelling the popcorn and I'm smelling the cotton candy and seeing everybody walk by with that and the rolls and the sausage on the sticks and all that other good stuff that's just just seeping through the air, and so anyway, and I stop at this one ride, and it's this, I can't remember the name of the ride, but it's this one that goes around and around and around, like this, and it kinda angles a little bit and goes around, and you get on these little seats, and they just kinda scoot around and go around and around, and you got people sitting in front of you and behind you. It's like a little chain going around, but it's going faster and faster, and these sirens and stuff are going off and everything, and I heard for the first time near that ride, I heard, and they were jamming it out too. I heard Van Halen. I heard it was on the first album. I heard the Van Halen song. I forget which one it was, man. But it was a Van Halen tune. Um, and I was completely floored. It was like I was so into the music and so into hearing that song that I was so compelled and just stuck right in my tracks. I never heard anything like it before. I've never heard any music like it before. I've never heard the guitar and the riffs and the just cool finger tapping stuff that Eddie Van Halen was doing on that song. And it was one of those songs, man, that I was like, "Oh my gosh, who is this group? Who is this, man?" And I was just completely floored at the sound of that. And here's the thing, man, nobody else out there was doing anything like that. Okay, nobody else was producing any songs like that that sounded like that. And it wasn't until later on, after I started recording and mixing and other things like that, that I read in a Mix magazine. I want to say 1991 Mix magazine, on the production part of that thing and how they actually got those songs to sound like that in compressors. And they were using compressors to actually pump with the tempo of the song. So you could hear this swelling, this push pull thing going back and forth with the music as it just drove and propelled the song. And a lot of that propelling thing that was going on was those compressors sucking and pushing. And you can use compressors in a bad way, and some people might refer to that as a bad way. But here's the thing: the engineer that produced those songs, they weren't looking at it as a bad way, and they weren't looking at certain rules. They were looking at rules to be broken as the vibe, and it was all about the vibe of the tune and creating a song that sounded different than everything else out there that's been heard on an album. Bam! And I'm telling you, man, they did it. They sure did it. And that album just soared to the top. And it seemed like every year that I went to the fair after that, they were still playing Van Halen at the fair on those loudspeakers, on those rides and all that other stuff, man, attracting people from all ages. And I'm telling you, man, what they did in the studio is still groundbreaking today. And here's the thing, man, had they looked at all the rules and guidelines as to what has been done in the past, they would not have done what they did and created what they did by following the rules, right? So rules are made to be broken, and it's how you present it's all about the vibe of the music more than technical. So as we engineers like to stay in the technical world of things, 3-to-1 ratio, typically starting out on vocals and all this other stuff, that we use as guidelines. Don't be afraid to break those guidelines, and also don't be afraid to use automation to help you break those guidelines. Automation, you guys, will be your best friend as to making the music move. Okay. I'm saying this from experience. I'm saying this as to what the top dogs are doing. They don't want to share a lot of their little massive tips out there that make a great A song, but a lot of it has to do with the vibe of the tune, great musicians. They always say you can't polish a turd, right? So you have to have great music to work with. But here's the kicker, man. When you got some great music to work with and you're using dynamics and you're using automation to help you get there, you can make that song swell and jump out of the mix and just grab you and hook you, man, and got you by the throat, man, and will not let you go. And you're hooked even after the first 15 seconds of the verse, man. And so that's what we want. And then when the chorus comes in, bam, you're getting reeled in. You're getting reeled in after the first part of the chorus. And it's because of those emotions. It's because of the vibe. It's because it's a great song. It's because of the dynamics. It's because of the motion in the music, my friend. The motion in the music. It makes you feel like you're watching it live, right? There's nothing being at better than being at a live concert. And when you're at that live concert, man, you feel the vibrations, you feel the energy and the people around you, all sitting around you. You see the musicians moving around on stage. You see them jumping up and down and smiling and moving and singing and running across the stage and everything. And it's that interaction with the audience and the live performance that makes you feel, oh, this is why I love music, man. This is why. This is what it's all about, right? And I'm telling you, man, when you get in the studio and you start recording, is getting your albums and getting your songs to reach out of those speakers and grab your audience, man, and hook them, man, reel them in. And part of that, and the only way you're going to do that is with vibe of the tune, a great song, and automation. You got to have automation, and don't be afraid when it comes in time for the chorus, man, to ramp that baby up 2-3 dB to make it just jump out of the mix and just hit you right between the freaking eyes, man, and have some impact and dynamics in the song. I was listening to an old Bruce Springs album, one of his first albums that he came out with, man. Darkness on the Edge of Town. You can look at buy that CD. It's $7 on the internet, man. Get on Amazon, buy the CD. Even if you don't even like Bruce Springsteen, get on there. Um, but I like him. I like him. He brings back memories of when I was a kid on the beach. But anyway, uh, buy that album and listen to that album. Bob Ludwig did the remastering on that CD. He is known everywhere around the world for his work. He is a master at what he does, and he mastered that CD. Listen to it, man. And I want you to listen to every song and listen to how each song is glued to the next song. And it just keeps you listening and listening till you listen to the whole album. But here's the thing, man. When you're listening to that album and CD, listen to the dynamics in that song. I'm telling you, man, from the verse to the chorus in some of these tunes in Candy's Room and a few others, it literally, I haven't put it on my computer to see what the dynamic range is, but just in the car, just I would swear it ramps up at least 5-6 dB from the verse to the chorus. And so don't be afraid to use automation on your courses, man, and bring back those great freaking mixes of yesterday, man, and get out of this static type mix where everything's just playing right across the daggum board, man, and start creating some music in your mixes that reach out there and grab your, where in the goo-goos, man. And that's what we want. That's what we want. And our mixes to be great and energetic and vibrant with a lot of dynamics, a lot of emotion, a lot of vibe, and just that music that we fell in love with. And why we fell in love with music, man, don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone and go crazy, okay, with some of your mixes. You might, just might, you might, even more than just might, find out that you fell in love with something you never thought that you could have done. And it was only because you were stepping across the boundaries, across the rules, and you were completely being free with your experimentation of making a great mix. Man, let's all do that. Let's all try that. And let's see, out of all of us, let's see if we can come up with a great mix and have a number one hit, man, and actually get some great music back in the studio, man, and on the radio, right? Let's get away from this cookie cutter stuff that's been out for the past 15 years, man, and let's get into some real music. And the only way we're going to do that, guys, is if you guys get in your studio tonight and start working on some projects. Here's the thing: go find the best guys in your town who are musicians who play in a band, bring them in your studio, produce their work, and who knows, if they make it big, they're bringing you along with them. And here's the thing, man, you guys are going to create some great music together, and you guys are actually going to be able to have some stuff on the radio that the majority of everyone really want to hear. We hate eating these things that they shove down our throat, but it's the only thing we have to eat. So they keep putting it out there. And as long as they keep putting it out there, we're it's all we have to chew on, right? So let's break that, and you guys get out there and help me get out there, and let's get out there together and create some decum music that's unresistible, that every soul in the world just loves to listen to, man. Take me back. Take me back to those days when I was listening to Van Halen as a kid. That's the feeling I want to get with the new music that comes out. I want to hear something different, and I want to hear something that grabs me and holds me to the floor where I do not want to take my headphones off. I want to go to sleep listening to that music at night. I want to dream about it, and I want to produce it, man. I hope this fires you up tonight. I hope this gets you excited about getting in your studio. Look, dude, I've got some keys coming in, some strings, some synths. I cannot wait to get this new chord piece because I am freaking stoked, and I am so ready to start producing some great music, man. And it's all gonna be derived around this keyboard and the sounds in it. It's from back in the day in the 70s. A lot of these sounds have that old Pink Floyd strings and whatnot, and synths and everything in it. All those early 80 sounds that we heard back in the day. That's what we want to do, man. We want to bring back some great music. So I cannot wait to fire my keys up and get in here and actually start producing some stuff. And here's the thing, man, I'm going to share it with you guys. And I want you guys to help me critique it and make it better. Okay. because we all need to be critiqued and we all need to, I don't know, just get better at what we do, what we love, right? So here's the thing, man. I have a Facebook group going on right now, and I am so stoked at all the people that's coming in that are great people that we're actually bringing into the Facebook group. Steven, I mean, Tony, just, all the everybody that's coming in. We appreciate all of you, and we appreciate all the stuff that you actually contributed to the Facebook group. But here's the thing, man. If you haven't joined the Facebook group, go to your Facebook, go to your group section, type in Audio Master, and join the group. If it doesn't pull you in right away, that's okay. I'll see that you're trying to come in and I'll yank you in, man. And then you're a part of the group. And here's the thing, once you become part of the group, um, feel freely to post things that's encouraging, pictures of your gear, pictures of what you're doing in the studio. Tell us what you're doing in the studio, who you're actually producing in the studio, who you're working with. Don't be shy and share those things with us because we want to know, man. We want to know. We want to know everything you're doing, man. And so, in a good way, in a way that keeps us motivated and encouraged too. Hang on a second, guys. Oh, sorry about that, man. Oh, I had to reach across the screen, but I had to get this. I'm so thirsty. So I'm still on this medicine. They put me on some seriously high potent antibiotics so that I can get better and get the infection out of my mouth. And the doctor said that it's going to kill pretty much all of the infection, but there's still going to be some infection within the root in the canal. And so they got to go in there and actually drill that root out and drill all the infection out of that root. And then they fill it with this kind of stuff, right? And then after they fill it with whatever kind of stuff to keep bacteria and whatever from getting in there, then they actually put this post. It's like I guess, a metal post, and then you have a crown. It looks like a real tooth, right? And then I guess they drill in that, they sink it down in there. They sink it down there in that canal, and then you got a new tooth, right? So, anyway, I'm on this medicine right now, man. And last night, dude, I'm sorry I had to get off early, but it was just killing me, man. The medicine hadn't started working, and the only painkiller I'm actually taking is like ibuprofen. So I've been taking ibuprofen along with the medicine that's supposed to the antibiotic that's supposed to kill the bacteria. And so the other night, man, my tooth was seriously just, I could feel it pumping. It felt like I could feel my heartbeat in my mouth. It was insanely, intensely sore. So anyway, now that I'm feeling a little better, my whole world changes. When you got a great attitude, when you got a great attitude, you can change the world. There's nothing that can hold you back at whatever you do. If it's playing music, if it's meeting new people, producers, engineers, whatever. If you got a great attitude, man, it's infectious, and people want to be around you. People want to love you. They want to be your friend, the whole 9 yards. And it's because you're past those barriers of being, I don't know, what's the best? A slave. Okay, that's the best word I can say. A slave to what others want to see you and how they should see you. Right? When you're a kid, I want to take you back. When you're a kid, there were no boundaries, and you were fearless, and you didn't distinguish color as part of. Now there's all this. You know, it's just bad. When you get older, I don't know what happens, man. But when you're a kid, you're fearless, man, and you can do anything. And it's because you have no fear and you don't really care about what the others think. If you pick your nose in front of the other kids, it doesn't matter because you're just a kid and you're having a good time. And that's the beautiful thing. And so we want to get you back to that point, man. to where you're fearless again and you're actually loving what you're doing and doing what you love, man. So that's why I'm here to encourage you guys, man. Let's get in the studio and let's start rocking out and doing some great stuff with our music and bring in everyone that we know that's better than us. Okay. That's what we want to do. We want to bring in people that's better than us in the studio so that we can actually produce them and make them the star. So that's what the title was tonight. Was the Audio Master Show. Did you receive your 5 stars? And if you haven't received your 5 stars, this is the 5 stars I'm talking about, man. I'm talking about the Audio Master t-shirt. Ah, I hope you guys got the Audio Master t-shirt, the one that I sent out to you. And here's the thing, man. If you join my show and you participate in my show just because, and you want an Audio Master t-shirt and you live in the United States, my friend, I will send you an Audio Master t-shirt and we will see if we can't get you one in your hands. But you must live in the United States. And I will not send anything out of the United States. I'm sorry for your other brothers and sisters out there, man. But anyway, but if you live in the United States and you join my show and you participate in my show, I will be more than gladly send you an Audio Master t-shirt and you will rock it, man. These shirts are absolutely stunning. I love them, and everybody that I give these to loves these t-shirts and wears them with honor. Because here's the thing, man. You guys are the stars, man. You guys are the stars. So I went in today, man. And well, actually, I called the other day and I seen this guy. I said, "Man, dude," I said, "Hey, man, where you get your hair cut at, man?" And he's like, "Oh, I go." So I'm like, "Where's that at?" So he explained it to me again. I was like, "Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, okay. I know what you're talking about." Da 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 da. Anyway, there's 2 hair salons in that shopping center, right? And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, but this guy's upstairs." So, man, I want my haircut just like you, man. I like your haircut. I like that real clean look, right? So, as you guys know, if you haven't noticed, I'm typically on this show with my white bandana, right? I'm always wearing my bandana on this show. And it's because my hair is always jacked up and I really don't really care the way it looks or the way it's been cut here lately. So it just makes it easy. I don't have to comb my hair. I don't have to do anything, man. I can just put on my bandana and rock and roll. And so anyway, it is a thing. I like wearing it. I do, especially when it's hot outside and everything. But here's the thing, man. I went and got my hair cut by this dude today, man. And I'm telling you, man, he is a scissor over comb dude, and I'm old school. You take that comb and you comb it up and scissor over comb, right? Scissor over comb. And he did use his shavers, to get it real low around the neckline, the nape. But man, I'm telling you, man, he did such a great job. I was like, "Are you kidding me? I am going to get you a lot of customers that come in here, man. A lot of friends. I'm going to send them into you." But anyway, I think he did a great job, and I appreciate that. It's always great having a great haircut. It just makes you feel good, right? So if you haven't been in your studio lately and you haven't been recording, man, I encourage you to get in there tonight after the show, only after the Audio Master show, and get in there and fire those preamps up, man, and start rocking and rolling in your studio, man. I gotta throw them guns up there like that because I am so pumped up and I love hanging out with you guys. I'd rather be doing there's nothing I'd rather be doing than hanging out with you guys on a Saturday evening and chilling out. But here's the thing I want to tell you, I might change up my time as to when I'm coming on when I start producing my music. And so, back to my music, I am going to start producing it with some other people and collaborating. And we are going to post it on the Facebook group. So that's another incentive. You should join our Facebook group, Audio Master Facebook group, is because we're going to be actually coordinating with other people, producers and engineers, man. And it's such a cool thing to know that if you like audio recording and you like mixing and this is part of your world and you wouldn't rather be anywhere else than here, man, this is the channel you need to be in on, man. This is the channel you need to be in on. So as we whip around and whip around and whip around things, we want to make sure that we're in the studio at all times with our favorite microphones, man. Get your favorite microphones out there, man. It's a beautiful thing. Now, the other night, I wanted to say something. I put this Shure SM57. This is the 57 hot rod, like the Chevy. Remember the 57 Chevy? Okay. Does anybody remember the 57 Chevy? Come on, guys. Help me out. Do you remember the 57 Chevy? Ah, come on. Come on now. My nephew. So he says, come on now. But anyway, the 57 Chevy. This is the 57 Shure. The SM57 Shure, not the 57 Chevy. This is the 57 Shure microphone. Heard on every record in the world, probably. At least the one since they came out in 1965. This mic came out in 1965 and has probably been shoved in every amplifier that known to man and on every record that you've ever heard since that day, man. Why would you not want the 57 in your recording studio? So I did a little test the other night, okay? And the test was this microphone right here, this beautiful microphone with all the sparkles and the pop filter right there, up against the SM7B broadcast microphone in every studio around the world as well. This one is known more so for its broadcasting capabilities. The beautiful low end that it has and that broadcasting sound that we all love. But here's the kicker, man. Here's the kicker. I put the 57 Shure up against it, man. A side by side test, right? And you wouldn't believe how close it sounds to the SM7B microphone. The SM7B is going to run you $399 plus tax. And the 57 is going to run you $99 plus tax. So that's why I really wanted to do a comparison between these two microphones, simply because some of you guys don't have four bills to throw out there on a mic right now. Okay. And I completely understand that because of the situation and the uncertainty that most of us, a lot of us, are facing. But I want to tell you this, man. This is a beautiful microphone, man. And if you definitely want a great microphone in your studio, this is a go to mic that's a winner. Ah, I love this mic, man. You got to have this microphone in your studio. And if you don't have one, you need 20. I say that in all due respect, just simply because you can put these things on everything. Guitar cabs, you know you're going to have two guitar amps in your room, at least two in your studio you're going to have, maybe 20. And then you know you're going to have a set of drums, right? You got your drums in there. You know you might have one over the top of the snare, one underneath the snare. So these 57s can be used, and you will find out that you will need more than one in your studio. You will need the 421s on the drums. You would need a nice condenser microphone on the drums, maybe a U67 or a U87 as a room mic, or even a kick drum mic, or even an overhead. Typically, though, a lot of people like to use the AKG stereo mic over the center of the drums. So you'll need some good pencil microphones too. But you may even want to use some old cool Electro Voice 642s. Get you some of those and put them in stereo over your drum kit and watch what happens, man. Watch what happens with the 642s over that bad boy. I'm talking old school. Make those drums come alive, man. And then you will need a beautiful ribbon microphone or two, maybe the R84 or the R44. And for aesthetics, you guys, for aesthetics, you know I love the 55. 55 microphone sounds absolutely wonderful. And look at it, man. Ain't it a jewel? The 55 just rocks, doesn't it, man? I mean, this is the microphone you want to stand up on the stage, rip it out, and run around like wild man. Beautiful microphone. So, some more studio techniques. How to start your mix, what to do, what to bring up first, what to track first. Want to hear some of it? I do. I hope you guys do too, man. So, when you're starting out your tracks and you're starting out your songs, what is a key thing, a key factor as to what type of song you're going to record, right? You might be asking yourself, well, I don't know, man. I just got songs. Well, let me tell you something, man. Tempo plays a large factor as to groove and vibe of the song. Also, key. What key is the song in? Is there going to be more songs than one? Is it going to be a single or is it going to be an album that you put together? If it's going to be an album that you put together, you're definitely going to need to know the keys of these songs and the tempo of these songs to coordinate as to which song goes in order on the CD. So important, man. So you need to know what key the songs are in, as well as the tempo of the songs. That way you can arrange the songs accordingly, and it's going to fit together as a whole together. So I hope that helps you out. Also, here's another little tip. When you're starting a song, what are you going to start with? A click track and the guitar? I guess you would if it's just one guitar or maybe a guitar, acoustic guitar with a cello in it. You'd start with a click track and the guitar. But if you don't, and it's going to be a full blown out song, what would you typically start with? The two driving forces of that song, correct? Correct. Ah, okay, man. And what would those two be? Those two would typically be the drums and the bass guitar. So the bass guitar and the drums are typically always in every song, the foundation, the cement of the La Casa. So if you have a good foundation that will propel your song, that's typically what you're going to start out with as far as a tracking. Now, if you got the whole band there, that's even better because you're going to have your drums, your bass guitarist, your guitarist, and perhaps even a lead guitar player with the vocalist, okay, or maybe even a keyboardist. But here's the thing: if you don't have your guitarist, your lead guitarist, that's fine. He typically knows where the solo comes in the song, so he really doesn't need to be there in the studio unless he just wants to hang out and do his part anyway. But the two that you need there the most, or the three, are the drums, the bass guitar, and the rhythm guitarist. Typically, with those three right there, the bass guitarist and the rhythm guitarist will know when all the changes are in the song, when the song's fixing to end the verse and go into the pre-chorus or chorus, and out of the pre-chorus chorus into another verse, out of the other verse into the pre-chorus chorus, out of the pre-chorus chorus into the bridge, out of the bridge into another pre-chorus chorus, or maybe straight into the chorus and tag out. Who knows? But they will know the structure of the song. Okay, so you need those guys in there, and you need the bass guitar player there for sure, because he is the guy that can either sit in the pocket of the song, or he may be the guy that actually propels parts of the song to move a little faster. Not that the tempo is changing or anything, but he's actually going to be throwing in some other licks to make it seem like the song is propelling a little faster. Okay, so the bass guitars is essential because he's playing off the kick. Okay, You do not want to not have those guys in the studio. You need those guys there at all times. The lead guitarist, he can be on vacation. Doesn't matter. He can come back in and put his parts in. The vocalist, it's a great idea to have him there because you can always use him as a scratch vocal if the other guys do not know the song completely and need him singing to keep them in line as to knowing the song. Okay? So, if the lead vocalist, even though he doesn't have to get his part down just right, that's okay because he can lay down a scratch vocal. Okay. And then he can always come back in at a later time, even by himself. And it can be just you, the engineer, and the vocalist putting down the tracks. And that's a beautiful thing because here's the thing, while he's with the band, he is performing and he's performing live to get these scratch tracks down. But a lot of time I've seen it more times than once where he's just in there. His mix isn't perfect, so he says, and he's performing a lot in a live way to where is when he comes back and it's just him and he's laying down the vocal tracks, he tends to do a lot better. At least my experience with vocalists, they tend to do a lot better when the other guys and it's just them and they can come and they can concentrate on phrasing and they can concentrate on delivery and actually give you, the engineer, two or three different references as to how they want to phrase a certain line before it ramps into and the springboard line before it springboards into the pre-chorus chorus section. Okay, it's really important how they phrase those lines to actually deliver it in a way that's compelling and intriguing enough to draw you in and then push you into the chorus section and hold you there, right? So I found it best to actually have the vocalist come in at another day, another time, and just tell him when he shows up, hey, this is just gonna be a scratch vocal, and so don't worry about singing in perfect key, and don't worry about anything. Just lay this track down for the band and for the rest of your band members, just to know that you're with them, and and give them a guideline as to know where they're at in the song. And then that way he'll feel a little more relaxed right off because he's not having to get it right and perfect, and he's not going to be paying attention so much to what he does. He can actually listen to what the other guys are doing in a way that is not so stressful on the singer, right? So you want the singer always comfortable, even when he's laying down the scratch tracks. So that's the best way to do that and approach it to him is, hey man, this isn't the real thing, man. Just get in here and get in the vocal booth or whatever. Hang out with us in the studio. Let's just get a live track going on, and like y'all would do on the stage. And this is just gonna be a scratch track anyway. And if all these other instruments bleed into your 58 or whatever you're using, the SM7B, it doesn't really matter, man. And just make him feel real comfortable right off. And here's the thing: a lot of times he might do something that's really, really good because he's so comfortable. And if there isn't a lot of bleedage, you can even keep some of those tracks and then have him come back in and lay some other tracks and then take the best of certain parts of those tracks and put them in and make one cohesive track, and bam, you got a perfect song, right? So I hope this helps you guys out, man. And I did give you a few great inspirational key points to do when you're tracking and recording tonight. Some very vital information that I gave you. And I hope you can use some of it. Some of you maybe already know all this stuff, and then maybe some of you don't. And for those of you that don't, um, it may be something that you want to try the next time you have a band in your studio. Excuse me. Give me another sip of this stuff right here before we get rolling on. So tonight we touched on don't be afraid to try new things. We touched on one of the most important things to do in your studio when you're starting out is to treat your room with bass traps, sound diffusers, and also sound absorbers in your room. Go ahead and do that first. That way you nip it in the bud, and you're not confused as to why you can't get a good mix after you've already spent 2 grand on your monitors. Treat your room first, then buy a good set. Buy 2 or 3 sets of your monitors. Two should be sufficient with a good set of headphones, like me, and that should do the job. And then get to know them and know your room and how your mixes sound. So we touched on all that tonight. And we also touched on automation. Don't be afraid to try new things with compressors. Try these things with tempo, and to where you're dialing in the compression to the tempo of the tune, to where it's actually hitting. Watch those needles to where they're actually hitting with the beat and whatnot. And then you've got a little pumping action going on, so don't be afraid to experiment with your compressors in that kind of way. Also, we touched on automation and how automation can make your songs sound like music in motion. Okay. And there's nothing worse than a very static song to where everything's playing right across the board. It sounds good in a way, but then it's missing all the dynamics, right? So we want that music to be moving within the stereo field, back and forth, whether we're panning guitars from the left side of the stage to the right side of the stage, or whether we're sending delays to right stereo field and left stereo field with the vocals in the middle. There's all these different techniques as to creating a beautiful mix, but don't forget about your automation, because with your automation, excuse me, with your automation, you can actually use your automation on your delays as well. You can EQ your delays a certain way and have each delay EQ differently, and have your automation actually turn on the delays and off the delays in real time as your song progresses across the timeline. And so you can use automation in that way with your effects, and use your automation with your dynamics of the whole song itself, from going from the verses to the chorus to the bridge, back to the verse or chorus or whatever. And so you can use your dynamics in that kind of way to get away from a static mix as well. So I'm hoping that some of this makes sense to some of you guys who have not been in mixing very long. And for those of you who have, man, this all makes perfectly good sense to you, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. And so it may be something that I touched on tonight to refresh some of you guys' memory as to how to go about doing that. But don't be afraid of automation, and don't be afraid to experiment in new things, right? This is where we get really, really good at our craft, and we start doing things that other people aren't doing. And all of a sudden, people are calling us to actually do their mix. Okay. And here's another thing I wanted to touch on. There are a lot of mixes that get sent out there to top engineers to be mixed. And typically, what will happen is a producer who's producing the band or whatever will have a CD, and it'll be a reference mix. It'll be giving the engineer an idea of their song and what they mixed out pretty much themselves. So the producer will send the engineer their song or songs, and the engineer will actually remix it in a way that he thinks sounds best for the song. And guys, I don't know how to tell you, but there's been many, 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 many cases where the producer gets back the song that has been mixed out from a certain engineer that is a well-known engineer, and has been rejected, and saying we really not happy with this mix. um and it happens all the time. So, and what they'll do is the producer actually send that mix off to another engineer and get a different perspective as to did that engineer create the vibe to sound better than the reference mix or not. And so that happens all the time where a lot of engineers get rejected on mixing out someone's tune. And it's not that they're not good, it's just what the producer and the band maybe didn't, they didn't see that it was adequate in a way that represented that band in a way that they wanted to be represented. So keep that in mind, man. So don't look at that as a failure if you're one of those guys that your song got rejected. Now they'll pay you, but it's just that they're not going to use your mix on the album. So don't look at that as a downfall. Just try to figure out what was it that you didn't do that their reference was doing as to why you didn't get surpass that in the way that pleases them. So keep that in mind, guys. And other than that, I just want to say thank you guys so much for joining in tonight and being a part of the Audio Master Show. Oh man, and I wanted to say this too. So, there are some given nights that we have late. We have also the midnight special. We have the midnight special show with Audio Master. So it's the Midnight Audio Master Show is what it's called. The Midnight Special Audio Master Show. Let me say that again and again. The Midnight Special Audio Master Show. And so we have that at midnight. And these are done on special nights when I have so much energy and I can't get audio mixing off my mind. And I want to come on and share some time with you guys. So here's the thing. I don't know when I'm going to be doing these midnight audio master show, midnight special audio master shows. And if I feel great, I'll do it. So I can't say, okay, well, I'll be on Thursday night or I'll be on Friday night or whatever. Okay. So just if you ring that bell, okay, if you ring that bell, you'll always get a notification as to when I'm on. And you can catch these great nights that I'm on just by hitting that bell, and it'll notify you. Hey, Audio Master's on, man. I got to get in there and watch some of this stuff, man. Hang out with him. So we appreciate all of you guys, man. We do, we do, we do, we do. And remember this. If you didn't remember anything else I said tonight, did you receive your 5 stars? You're the star, right? And if you contribute by hanging out on the show and actually collaborate with me as to, hey, what's up, this and this, asking questions and participate in the show, and you live in the United States, I will send you an Audio Master t-shirt and we'll see if we can't get you one out some way in some kind of form, man. So thank you so much for joining in. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you. You're all important to me. And without you guys, there would be no show. And I really, really love all the questions. Keep your questions coming in, even if they are on, even if your questions are on the messenger. I'm totally cool with that. I kind of think it's kind of funny, really. But if you guys like hanging out with me and spending time and messaging me on my messenger, I'm really cool with that. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with that. But the only way that you can do that is if you join the Audio Master channel on the Facebook group, and then once you do that, then we're automatically friends and you can send me messages by your messenger. And I'm totally cool with that, man. But look, hey, man, so this is the thing. If you do get pulled into if you do decide to get on the group, the Audio Master Facebook group, please remember, send us a picture of your studio. If you have a picture of your studio, or if you don't have a studio and you play something with your keyboards, or you play acoustic guitar, or you play bass guitar, send us a picture of your guitar And are you playing your bass guitar and your rig? Send us a picture of that and put it on the Facebook group. We'd love to have you, man. And so we just it's a way that we can all kind of get to know one another in a way that can be beneficial for all of us in a lot of different ways. Perhaps you're a bass guitar player and you need a guitar player in your band, and you find out that y'all live kind of close together. Perhaps you're a band and you need an engineer that can take your band to a different level, or a producer. Then hey, we've got the group going on, and it's just a great place for us all to collaborate and get to know one another, to where we can help each other out with our resources. And it's all about resources, and it's all about connecting in a business kind of way. And there's one thing that I learned from this one group. Years ago, I actually entered into this group. It was called the BNI group. And BNI stands for those of you who don't know, BNI stands for Business Networking International. So on an international level, businesses can, network together. And so it's, oh, I know this person over here. You're trying to get a hold of this person. Well, I know this person over here. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, well, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking to talk to this person because this person can help me out and get here. And you find this person over here and I'll find this other person over here. So it's businesses networking together. And here's the thing: if we can network together on the Facebook group for audio musicians and engineers and producers, what a perfect thing, right? Because it's a win-win situation for everybody. And so as we continue to grow the channel, that's what we want. We want to continue to grow our networking capabilities, to bring this as a beautiful hub for us all to come to, and meet new people, right? And that's what it's really all about. So it's Saturday evening, and I'd mentioned several great things that's going to help you out in your mix. And then we talked about a few various different things, kind of off the wall, and stuff like that. I didn't do a review on. I'm going to do another review on two different microphones, a little mic review shootout, and I need to weigh it out and see which one you guys want me to do. So people's been writing in on different ones they want me to do the shootout on, and I definitely want to do one on the Turner microphone against the SM7B or the 57 SM 57. And so I hadn't gotten around to do that, but I will get around to do that, and we will do a great show. So I might do that tomorrow. It just depends on who else writes in and what other kind of questions come in as to what I'm going to actually answer and do the video on. So we appreciate you guys. As always, hover your mouse over that little icon right there in that corner. Should be right there. It says Audio Master on it. If you hover your mouse over it and then you click on it, bam, it's going to pull you in, man, and you're going to be subscribed to the channel, which is totally freaking cool, right? And then after that, slam that bell out of the park, man. Get your grand slam, man, and slam it out of the park. And that way you'll be notified as to when I come on. And other than that, man, be cool and enjoy the show. Remember to like and share so that we can get an algorithm. And for those of the engineers and newcomers and the next generation who want to know about audio recording, if you like and share, it's going to get an algorithm to where they'll be able to watch the videos as well, man. And we want them learning because we want that next beautiful song like we heard when we were kids on the radio, that just grabs us and holds us the rest of our life, right? And we want that for the next generation too. So the only way we're going to be able to do that is to teach the next generation what we know so that they can have a head start in life. Thank you guys so much. And until then, as always, we appreciate each and every one of you. And let your friends know what's going on here on the Audio Master channel. and get them to hang out with us as well and contribute by putting in their 2 cents, man, and encouraging others. Also, if you don't have a doll and you want to start out on a doll, I really like that entry level doll. It's not an entry level doll; it's a professional doll. But Reaper's a great doll for $60, man. You can sign up for it and have it on your computer in no time. It's a great, 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 great compatible doll to start with, and I suggest doing that because it's easy to navigate around it, and you're gonna learn a lot from it. So thank you guys so much for joining in tonight, as always at the Audio Master Show. And you know what, man? Be hanging out, man, because I will be coming on tomorrow evening about the same time. We'll be coming on around 7 o'clock, sometime around there, man. 7:15. And until then, we will see you tomorrow.